Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have this tutorial for you guys, the pop of color with yellow on my eyes that I was wearing in my how I curl my hair video. A lot of you guys on here requested it, and I of course had to give it to you, so here it is. By the way, thoughts on the new background, trying out different ones. I bought a few different fabrics the other night and I was kind of curious to see how white would work out, so I'm not too sure how it's gonna come off on camera, but I am crossing my toes that everything is okay. And yeah, so I'm also using some new products in this video, so hopefully I can give you guys a review soon. I'll let you know what product it is that I'm using that's new. You guys let me know if you want a review on it, because you know I'm down for one if you are. Alright, so I think that's it. Short intro this time around, so if you guys want to see how I got this look, then of course just keep on watching. Alright, let's get the tutorial on the road. So I'm taking some Scotch tape, just a small piece, and lining it up with the bottom of my lash line towards my tail of my eyebrow. Then I'm taking my MAC paint pot in soft ochre and applying it all over my lid as usual. Then for the first shade I'm going to be using from the Artist palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills is Buttery all over our entire eyelid. Then I'm going to be using Bobbi Brown's Almond blush, and who says you can't use blush on your eyes? So I'm taking this, my Bobbi Brown eye blender brush, and just really working this into the crease back and forth and then in circular motions. You want to build this up to the intensity that you desire. I did go back in about 3 or 4 times. Then for the next shadow I'm taking Bobbi Brown's Camel and on that same exact brush and just doing the same exact motion and technique and just really focusing on blending these two colors together. I really love the warmth that these two create. Then back to the Artist palette, I'm using Dusty Rose, and we're going to be layering if you haven't noticed by now. So again, on that same brush I'm just going to be dipping in and really focusing this more on the outer part of the crease and then working our way inward. And then I'm going to be taking a little bit of fudge. This is from the Artist Couture palette from Shadow Couture palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. And I just wanted more of like a deeper brown for this, just to really start to deepen up that crease. I wanted this to be ultra smoky, and for the hell of it I just added a little bit of Morocco as well. And again, these colors I focus more on the outer V. As you can tell, I need to really clean my palettes. Then on a smaller crease brush, this is from Real Techniques, I'm picking up a little bit of Noir and just really making sure to smoke this out and buff it out. And I also mixed in a little bit of Kohl from the Artist palette. Whatever's left on my brush, I am then pushing inwards toward my crease, then picking up that eye blender once more with no additional product just to blend everything into each other. I'm then taking a real haired fluffy brush and just going over the edges just for cleanup purposes and picking up any excess product. Then for the lid, and to make sure that the yellow we use really pops, I'm taking my NYX Cream Eye Base in white, and on a flat shader brush I am starting from the inner C of my eye and slowly and gradually starting to smooth this over the first half of my eyelid, then dabbing off the excess on the back of my hand, and then being extra careful not to add any more product. I'm just going to work with what's on my eye right now. Ugh, got tongue-tied. And as you can tell, I'm really utilizing the edge of this flat brush to just hug the natural crease, and I'm feeling where my eye socket starts to hollow out, like the edge of my eyeball, I guess you would say, and just kind of going in a smooth, clean line around it. And then whatever is left towards the end of this white eye base, I am just kind of blending and fading this off into the darker colors we have on our outer V. Then I'm going to be picking up Fresh from the Artist palette and just literally patting and packing this on and building up the color intensity, and then kind of just blending a little bit back and forth. Then once that is all covered and you can see no more white, I am just going to be peeling off that tape and then starting my wing liner. I am doing a regular wing liner how I always usually do, and if you guys want a full in-depth wing liner tutorial, I do already have one up on my channel. You can go ahead and search it, and I show you guys how I like to do my wing liner with gel eyeliner. But I'm basically just doing my wing like how I normally would, and then what I'm going to be doing is going over this line with the NYX Skinny liquid eyeliner just to really sharpen and clean up the line. And I've really been loving this eyeliner. I just recently got it, but it is so pigmented and the color comes out so fast that it just creates this smooth, perfect line and edge, which I really love in an eyeliner, especially like the wing liner. You want it to be as perfect as possible. Then I'm going to be starting the rest of my face. I'm using my Nivea Men Aftershave Balm kind of kicking it old school, giving the Marc Jacobs primer a break and just rubbing this all over my face. And then for foundation, I am using my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte in shade 102 with my Morphe MB39 brush, and then just dotting the foundation around my face, and then using this brush to stipple it all in and press it into my skin, just making sure to really get in close and just making sure to have a nice full coverage. For concealer, I am using my MAC Prolongwear concealer in NC15, which I'm almost out of, but just applying it like how I normally do, which is underneath my eyes, going along the edge of my nose, and of course repeating this on both sides. I'm also going to be placing a little bit of this onto the center of my forehead and also onto the bridge of my nose, and also a little bit on my chin, center of my chin. For this concealer, to buff it out, I'm using my Sephora 56 brush. It's a little unusual. I usually like to use my beauty blender for this, but I decided to do something a little different today, and it really wasn't the best choice just because this concealer does dry so fast and so matte that I had to work extra hard to make sure it was all blended out completely. But again, I did want to keep the matteness to it, so that's why I avoided using a damp beauty blender. But anyway, it worked. It just took a little bit more extra time. Then to make sure that everything is blended out completely and smoothly, I'm taking whatever is left on my foundation brush and just going over the edges of my concealer just to make sure it melts well in with my foundation. So here's the new product that I'm using. This is the NYX Contour and Highlight Palette, and this is only my second time using it, but if you guys want a review, I will give you one because I am going to be using it for the next few days just to really test it out. So I'm taking a mixture of the yellow powder and the one right next to it in the middle to set all of my concealer and highlighted areas, and I personally think that these colors work really great, especially for my skin tone. How they would work on someone that's a little bit deeper in skin tone than me, I'm not too sure. That's what concerns me about this, I can tell you right now. But I am applying this with my Bobbi Brown Sheer Powder Face Brush. Once my highlighted areas are set, I am then going to be warming up my face with my Benefit Hoola Bronzer and with my Sonia Kashuk Large Powder Face Brush around my cheeks, forehead, and my chin. Then I'm taking the lightest color of the contour shades from the NYX Contour Kit with my Luxie angled brush, and I'm just going to be really hollowing out my cheekbones as best as I can with this brush, kind of holding it upside down is the best way that I like to use it. And then I'll be taking my Sonia Kashuk small flat brush just to contour my nose. I did feel like this contour powder was a little too harsh for my nose area. It went on a little bit muddy, so in order to fix that, I just picked up a little more of that yellow shade, and with a small setting brush, I just kind of toned it down as best as I can just to really make sure that everything was blended because it was looking a little harsh. Then I picked up a little more of that beigey whitish color from the Contour and Highlight Kit, and just with that same brush, I am just highlighting underneath my contour just to make it look even more sharp than what it already is. And here's where I was kind of judging the powders just to see how they looked all put together. But like I said, I'll give you guys a more finalized review if you want one. Then I'm taking the Benefit What's Up Cream Highlighter just onto my finger, and then I like to press it into my cheekbones. This cream highlighter alone is actually really bomb, as well as using it as a base for other highlights, especially like if you're oily like myself and after a while your oil starts to push through. This highlight looks even 10 times more intense, so I absolutely love it. It's super easy, and it's actually easy to blend out, but just take your time making sure you're really patting it out so it doesn't look too chunky on the cheekbones. Then for the rest of my face that I usually like to highlight, I'm taking the more beigey toned highlighter from the NYX Highlight and Contour Palette with a smaller eyeshadow brush, just placing some on my cupid's bow, center of my chin, and also down the bridge of my nose. And it looks a lot more vibrant here on camera than what it did in person, so I kind of wish I didn't apply so much, but I couldn't really see it in person. I don't know if it was the lighting or what, but on camera I can really see it. And then once again, taking the Bobbi Brown Almond Blush with my Luxie Large Face Brush and just applying it from the apples of my cheek up towards my temples. Then whatever's left on my foundation brush, I'm just muting out my lip color with it. And then I'm going to be taking Maybelline's Creamy Matte Lipstick in Touch of Spice. And I like to use this eye detail brush from Crown Brush. I don't have the exact number anymore, but it's one of my favorite brushes to use on the lips. Someone had asked in my last video what lip brush I recommend, and really whatever works for you. I find that anything that's thin and that comes to a slight point works really well because you can get a nice clean edge with it being so flat, and then the point just really helps to get like into the inner corners of the lip line. Then I'm going to clean off my brush, just wiping off the excess on the back of my hand, and in the center I am applying Anastasia's lip gloss in Undressed and just feathering out the edges into the Maybelline lipstick color. Then I'm taking my favorite nude eyeliner. This is NARS Larger Than Life Eye Pencil in the shade Rue Bonaparte. Really the best nude eyeliner I've ever used. And then I'm just lining my inner waterline with it, just to give my eyes a more large look. And then I'm taking the NYX Skinny eyeliner once again and being super careful, probably not even breathing, and just drawing out a small line or wing, reverse wing, from the bottom part of my tear duct only, not the top, just the bottom. And being really careful to apply less pressure as we go out towards the point. This is what gives you that nice sharp point, and then connecting from the middle of that line all the way back and then lining just the rest of my waterline. Then be pushing up some kohl from the artist palette once again over on top of that line, and then smudging out with Dusty Rose, and then taking a pencil brush to just really smoke it out further with Camel again. I'm quickly coating my lashes in some Tarte mascara. This is the Lights Camera Lashes, I believe. And then I'm just be applying my lashes. These are Lily lashes in the style Doha. I love to apply or anchor the middle first, and then I like to just kind of anchor down the corners because I get to adjust it to the appropriate position on my eyelid. Just in case you're wondering, but I do have a full eyelash tutorial on my channel also. So I decided to skip over the MAC Fix Plus. I did spray over with some Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, and this is the completed look, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.